from Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring. We are Basin trusted, Basin proud. This is ABC Big 2 News at 10.
Well, good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for this weekend edition of ABC Big 2 News at 10. I'm Madeline Bierster. Well, it was a solemn day across the country. Dedications took place at all three sites where nearly 3,000 people lost their lives on this very day 20 years ago.
The sun rising over lower Manhattan this September 11th, 20 years after the deadliest attack on American soil. Mourners gathering at the 9/11 memorial, along with President and First Lady Biden, as well as former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Bells tolling 6 times for the 6 pivotal moments of the attack, starting at 8:46 a.m., marking the time when American Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
Oh, say can you see?
The Young People's Chorus of New York singing the national anthem. The sound of bagpipes as the names of all 2,977 victims of the attacks were read out loud by family members.
Today of all days, we gather their memory close.
At the Pentagon, where 184 people were killed, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin reminding Americans that we must be tireless guardians of our ideals as well as our security.
And we still uphold our values here. With clear heads and fearless hearts.
And in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the 40 passengers and crew of United Flight 93 bravely overpowered the hijackers and crashed the plane down into a field, Vice President Kamala Harris spoke of the humanity and courage of those strangers.
We must also look toward the future, because in the end, I do believe that is what the 40 were fighting for. Their future and ours.
Former President George W. Bush also delivering remarks comparing the September 11th terror attack to the growing domestic terrorism threat.
They are children of the same foul spirit, and it is our continuing duty to confront them.
President Biden and the First Lady also attending a wreath-laying ceremony at Shanksville. Those who were there are the family members of those killed on Flight 93. And the President and Dr. Biden also visiting the Pentagon to pay their respects. Ika Jachi, ABC News, New York.
Well, thousands of families are keeping up the fight for their loved ones, too. More than 64,000 claims for assistance have been made by survivors and their families to the Victims' Compensation Fund. Now, 20 years later, the claims keep coming in. ABC's Phil Lipoff has that story.
This morning, 20 years after the worst terror attack on American soil, so many who were there that day are still getting sick. And there's a push to let people know the Victim Compensation Fund is still available to them.
Unfortunately, we continue to get calls every day that somebody was diagnosed with cancer, that somebody has passed away from a 9/11 illness.
Phil Alvarez's brother, Lou, was an NYPD detective who responded that day.
It wasn't until 15 years later that Lou was told that he had a 9/11 related cancer. He had cancer of the colon, cancer of the liver, and it was stage 4 because they had metastasized from one to the other.
Lou died in 2019, but not before testifying to Congress about the need for the Victim Compensation Fund to widen its ability to help. Alongside comedian Jon Stewart, this was Lou shortly before he died.
I should not be here with you, but you made me come. I will not stand by and watch as my friends with cancer from 9/11, like me, are valued less than anyone else.
The 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund was set up just 11 days after the attack. Its original goal to help victims and their families. In January of 2011, a new act was signed. It reopened the fund, expanded eligibility criteria, and extended the deadline to file a claim until October of 2016. Now, rescue and recovery workers could begin to get medical help. But in 2018, word of potential funding insufficiencies. That's when Lou and Stewart went to Congress.
Your indifference cost these men and women their most valuable commodity, time. It's the one thing they're running out of.
Finally, in July of 2019, the deadline to file a claim was extended until the year 2090.
We realized there was a need for this sort of help and this sort of aid, if you will.
Bridget Gormley's father, William, was an FDNY firefighter who died in 2017 from cancer his family believes was caused by 9/11. Today, his children work tirelessly to make sure those like their dad are covered by the fund.
I never realized that, the years following that people would still be passing away and more people than were lost now than that day.
Well, here in West Texas, one of the first events commemorating the 20th anniversary of 9/11 took place this morning in Midland with the Tall City Memorial Stair Climb. ABC Big 2's Avi Kargloth was there as the community climbed in honor of the first responders who went into the Twin Towers.
Over 500 climbers came to Grande Communications Stadium for the 4th annual Tall City Memorial Stair Climb. Last year's event was canceled due to COVID-19 issues, so this stadium was chosen due to COVID concerns, and it allowed for more people to be able to climb. This is the first year community members have been allowed to participate, and many took advantage of that opportunity.
Anytime we have a chance to thank our first responders, we should do that because they're putting their lives on the line every single day, and us to be out here supporting them, I think really helps encourage what they do for a living.
I think sometimes we forget and we take advantage of the fact that they're out there every day putting their lives on the line to keep us safe.
The first year in an open stadium gave the first responders a chance to see the large amount of support from West Texans. The community's involvement certainly didn't go unnoticed.
It's an adrenaline rush for us to see the level of support for the community. They're out here because they love to support the law enforcement and first responders and firemen. It just gives that will to go on, and we appreciate that.
Participants followed a path around the stadium 4 times, equaling to about 110 stories, the height of each twin tower. Instead of just saying they'll never forget, they're actively remembering America's fallen heroes.
Every climber is climbing with a name tag like this, and it has the name of a fallen first responder on it that they're climbing in their honor of. So everyone here isn't climbing just to climb. They're not doing it for a workout. They're climbing with a first responder's name around their neck, that they're climbing specifically in memory of a single person.
Mourning the loss of those who died 20 years ago was somber. However, there was hope in the air that their memory will live on forever, and they will truly never be forgotten. Reporting from Midland, Avi Kargloth, ABC Big 2 News.
Today in Odessa, Texas Representative August Pfluger hosted several special events to honor 9/11 victims and first responders. 2 flag presentations took place at the Odessa Fire Department Central and Station 3. Fire Chief John Alvarez says the ceremonies are a good way for their personnel to be recognized on this day.
I mean, it's just a good time for us to reflect, not only, as a department, as a community, but definitely for me as a fire chief, I can tell you that I'm extremely proud of our men and women that serve here today. They put it out on the line every day, day in, day out.
But still, it's an honor to have somebody come by and show their respect to what we do as a department.
These flags were gifted to both stations after being flown over the Capitol as a thank you for their service and commitment to the community. Well, another special commemoration happened in the Basin today, a wreath-laying ceremony at the Chris Kyle Memorial following a caravan through town. I spoke with those in attendance today who say it makes them appreciate our local first responders even more on the anniversary of this fateful day.
And they didn't die in vain. God's hand is still on them and their families, and thank God that we have first responders in this country.
We rode over here, and I rode with the sheriff, and what really touched me was the people that were pulled over on the side of the road that had their hand over their hearts, and it's pretty amazing.
Watching New York City Fire emergency response units going in, and then seeing the towers fall, my heart just broke. That was my family, and it just every year since then it hits different for me than people that aren't in public safety. So
firefighters, policemen, and other members of our community in New York, our neighbors in New York that perished, and it's so very important for us to remember those individuals, honor them for what they did, what they do, what our guys here do each and every day. Our first responders go out there and protect our community.
To use this day to remember that before we're anything else, we're Americans. and what this flag stands for and what this country has allowed people to live the American dream. It's worth fighting for.
Every year on 9/11, I still participate any way that I can.
What they do for the community day in and day out, and to think about when things go wrong, when we have emergencies or crisis, these are the folks, the law enforcement, the fire, men and women, these are the people who keep our community safe.
We just want to come out and show our support for our first responders, show them that, we're patriotic, we appreciate everything they do.
Those that have given the ultimate sacrifice and those that are willing to give the ultimate sacrifice to keep us safe. It's incredible to be around.
They go out there and put their lives on the line each and every day, and we want to show that we support them.
Well, there's one more memorial that's inspiring Odessans to reflect on 9/11 as well. The American Tribute is still up at Memorial Gardens Park. More than 3,000 flags represent the victims of 9/11. Organizers have done this every year since 2002. On this tragic anniversary, many people not only take a moment of silence, but also some time to reflect on where they were when they heard our nation was under attack. Several people I spoke to say they can pinpoint the exact moment they heard the news, even 20 years ago.
I'll never forget that day. It was a very sad day, and it's a day I'll never forget.
I didn't see the first plane hit, but I did see that second plane hit the Twin Towers, and so, as you can imagine, like everybody else during that time, we were glued to our TVs and wondering what is going on here.
And I remember turning on the TV and just shocked at what happened, shocked at somebody that could have that much hate in their heart.
I'll never forget that day, and I think most of us will never forget where we were. And it changed the world. It brought out, even in the worst of times, the best of Americans.
Each and every community has been taking their time to pay their respects. Today, Alpine Border Patrol Station hosted a special ceremony to remember those who lost their lives in this horrific event. Organizers say no matter how much time passes since September 11th in 2001, we will never forget and pledge to honor the lives lost that day, always. And at the Lone Star Capitol, Governor Greg Abbott issued a proclamation to mark the 20th anniversary of the terror attacks, urging all Texans to take a moment to pause in remembrance of the lives lost and to remember the enduring patriotism that binds our nation together. To stay up to date with all that's happening in remembrance of 9/11, just head to our website, yourbasin.com. And one New Yorker was so inspired by his brother's ultimate sacrifice that he's found a way each year to take the same path as his brother. We'll show you how coming up.